Mindfulness Without Borders is a registered charity here in Canada and a 501c3 nonprofit in the States. And our mission is to support the mental health and well-being of young people and the professionals and adults that surround them. We do a number of things to support that mission. First and foremost, we work with an evidence-based program, which is called the Mindfulness Ambassador Council. And it's an 8 to 12 lesson program that looks at social and emotional learning competencies paired with secular mindfulness-based practices to help support students develop life skills that they need to thrive beyond academic knowledge that they're learning in classrooms. In addition to the youth-focused programs, we have professional development and trainings for educators and other professionals that surround these young people. So whether that be a teacher in a classroom or a psychologist, social workers, even administrators within schools take parts in these trainings and professional development workshops where we're looking at how to help adults model the competencies that we're trying to instill in young people. So if we're talking about stress management, we're talking about developing an awareness of one's emotional experience, it's a lot easier for teachers to talk to students about these kinds of things if they can explore those dimensions in their own lives. There's a lot of definitions out there for what mindfulness is. I like to use the definition that Jon Kabat-Zinn came up with. He's a leading thought provider in the mindfulness world at large. He says that mindfulness is a quality of awareness that arises from paying attention in the present moment, on purpose, and without judgment. So there's a certain number of conditions there that develop this quality of awareness. How many times have you walked into a classroom, or for professionals, how many times have you walked into a meeting or a family gathering with your full body, but maybe you've left your mind somewhere else? So maybe you're sitting in a classroom, you're sitting in a family gathering with your body, and it looks like you're there and listening, but really in your mind you're thinking about what you're going to do after school, a conversation you had with your parents in the morning, maybe planning for the weekend, and before you know it, you've lost track of what's actually happening in front of you. So present moment awareness is something that we can all do, but it's something that needs to be done with purpose and intention. And then the non-judgment piece is more about being aware of what's happening in the present moment for just what it is. So from when we're younger, at a young age, we're taught very quickly to decide what we like and what we don't like, what's good and what's bad, what's right and what's wrong. And from then on, our thinking is kind of dualistic in nature. It's very easy for us to label things as, yes, no, I like that, I don't like that. But what mindfulness is trying to teach us how to do with the practice is to see the moment for what it is, and only for what it is. And when we notice those judgments coming up as something that we like or something that we don't like, to just release the judgment and come back to the moment for what it is. So a tangible example of how mindfulness is applicable in a classroom is to think about a student, let's say in a math class, sitting there focusing on some kind of equation, trying to figure out the value of X or whatever it is. But at the same time, they're thinking about an argument they had with their parents, maybe weekend plans with their friends where they're feeling, sad that they were excluded. They're stressed about college applications, maybe worried about other dynamics between friends and family. But really they're trying to focus on this math problem to figure out, to get the right answer and get the good grades that they need to have. While they're going back and forth between what they should be focusing on and where their mind is taking them, they're losing sight of what the intention of the moment is. So I think as professionals, we ask students to pay attention all the time, but I don't know that we ever really teach them exactly how to do that. So with the practice of mindfulness, by intentionally placing your attention on one object of attention for longer periods of time, you can help develop this ability to focus on something. And smaller moments of focus build into longer periods of concentration, which can really help students perform academically and feel less compelled to get caught up in the narrative of what the distracting thought is, but rather notice the distraction and come back to the problem at hand that they're trying to focus on.